Thank you for joining me here in Angola, Luanda. African Pilot is with the TAAG Chief Commercial Officer. This is quite a moment for TAAG. You've got some big projects on the go. You're now operating out of the new airport. Give me what the forecast looks like for the next 12 months.
Well, the forecast for the next 12 months looks very, very positive for us. I mean, we are setting up the infrastructure for the past 24 months. As you guys know, we inaugurated the new international airport late 2023 in the month of November. We then started a phased activation process for which we started with cargo. Then a couple months later, we started with domestic flights for some key routes. And after that, we kept growing the domestic until completing. After we completed the domestic, we then started to focus in the international, regionally first, and then intercontinental. So we have officially transitioned our operations to the new airport. It's going out smoothly. Other global airlines have already started to transition as well. Emirates is already operating from there. Air France, as we speak, also transitioned to the new airport. 2026, definitely we're talking about a new infrastructure with 15 million annual passenger capacity with 130,000 tons of dedicated cargo terminal. So it's about growing ASKs, available seat kilometers, with more destinations, or also increasing the frequencies to the destinations that we're already operating. We are very strong in the western part of the African continent, connecting Angola to South Africa, connecting Angola to Nigeria. Our plans including flying to new regional destinations in the west coast, the eastern part of the African continent, and also growing obviously intercontinental. We are right now flying to South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, Sao Tome, both Congos, Nigeria, Mozambique, and Kenya, which we started in September this year. Our plan is now to start Abidjan in the Ivory Coast and Accra in the next 3 to 4 months. Ideally, those markets should be operating. However, we also have the strategy of going into a greater network depth, which means increasing the frequencies to existing destinations, really to provide a better product to the market. We're currently flying 10 times a week to Cape Town. We're flying 9 times a week to Johannesburg. And we are trying to increase those frequencies to have a daily flight to key markets such as Maputo, daily flights to Lagos, and at that moment start to increasing to eventual double daily flights as well.
Have you started flying into Zambia yet? I mean, I recall in April there was the bilateral air agreement that was signed. Have flights begun yet?
Not yet. Lusaka is in our pipeline. We're also looking at Harare as in our pipeline. We definitely met with the key stakeholders in both countries in order to discuss the opportunities. We are happy to announce that we have their full support, both at the civil aviation level, airport level, and at the government, obviously. We have had great financial incentives from those players in order to fly to these destinations. And as we speak, definitely those destinations will be online next year for sure. We wouldn't be able to tell you exactly when. We're still evaluating, how to more effectively operate the routes, but definitely next year, 2026, will be part of our network.
Talk to me about your fleet, because you've started taking delivery of new planes. What have you ordered recently? What is the current fleet size?
So we started a fleet renovation plan just about 4 years ago. In that moment, what we have done is we were able to take advantage of some tactical opportunities and what we would call arbitrage from that were generated from COVID at the time where some airlines decided to pull out of some commitments with OEMs. At that time, we were able to secure 4 whitetails 787s from Boeing. We were also secure some A220s with lessors, for which we started now. Actually, last year we started to take delivery of the first Airbus A220s. So that was the first one out of 15 airplanes that we committed. As we speak, airplane number 4 will be delivered late this week. As far as the wide-body fleet, we have completed the full deliveries of the 4 787s that we had committed with Boeing. We also heavily engaged discussing the future with Boeing in terms of wide bodies. We definitely look at TAAG as a renovated 25 airplane fleet by the end of next year, and obviously growing between now and 2030 to a 50 airplane fleet, both mix of wide bodies and narrow bodies.
The idea behind the wide bodies, is that really for your long haul flights?
Yes, indeed. As you know, TAAG's vision is to connect Angola to Africa and Africa to the world. António Agostinho Neto Airport is the central piece of our hub strategy, and it allows Luanda to be effectively connected within a 3-hour radius to 1.4 billion inhabitants in the African continent. Our vision is clear, is to give access to Angolans to those African markets, to Angolans to the global markets, to Africans to other African markets connecting through Luanda, to Africans connecting through Luanda to the global world, and to the global world into Africa. So this hub and spoke, we talk a lot about hubs, but we need to add the word spoke system, which is the connectivity points around the Agostinho Neto International Airport. The vision obviously is to do that with a great product. And this is where the long haul, efficient product, Boeing 787 comes into play. We are currently flying those airplanes already to Guarulhos in Brazil, where we fly them 4 times a week. We do have the opportunity to grow that to 7 times a week. But generating this traffic, inbound and outbound, is the key factor for which the hub structure is the main pillar, allowing airplanes to land, allowing passengers to transit seamlessly within Luanda to the final destination being Angola directly, doing a stopover in Angola, continuing to the destination in Cape Town, continue to the destination Nairobi for tourism, continue to the destination for business in Lagos, for example. And that's where we are trying to position. And that means continuing to grow our intercontinental fleet. Obviously, we fly into Europe right now. Very soon, the 787 will replace the 777s that we're flying to Lisbon. We do have additional markets that we are studying, London being one of them, Paris being another one. We fly Porto in the northern part of Portugal as a seasonal flight, for which we are considering bringing it as a scheduled flight also in 2026. Ultra long haul, now we are talking about flying to Guangzhou in China, a 14-hour flight connecting Luanda, and obviously connecting Africa to China. We are talking about the trading business, African traders going to China. We are talking about the e-commerces, the giants from China trying to access the African market. Last but not least, we must emphasize our ambition to fly to the US. We are evaluating different routes. It's also a 14-hour, would most likely be a 13 to 14-hour flight, and giving access to the sub-Saharan African continent, to the US, and vice versa. So this is our short-term, medium-term strategy plan.
We've heard this morning that a lot of the operators in Africa are severely challenged and hampered by operational costs, high operational costs. Levies, taxes, fuel. How are you managing that, and how are you working towards a more harmonized environment?
The profitability structure of a route, you can see that we clearly very good in margin one, the fixed and variable costs of the flight, right? And obviously, when you break down, some markets are quite challenging in Africa because they got their own specific rules. They have passenger landing taxes that passengers are charged directly above the taxes that the airline already paid and are part of the ticket structure as well. The way we see it, in the short term, our vision is to focus on those markets that are ready to be developed and obviously give time to other markets that are not yet ready to understand that there's a path and there is a change that needs to occur in order to make them attractive as well. We're talking about Luanda, obviously, is one of the good markets. Cape Town, Joburg, Maputo, Lusaka, as you mentioned, or those are Nairobi, those are the good markets that are ready to be developed. Abidjan's and Accra's, Lagos as well. A lot of work can be done in order to make the cost structure more effective. But we see that there's a lot of room that us as an airline, we can do in order to grow our seat load factor and also allow us to generate more revenue in the short term. In the medium term, obviously, to work with other organizations and key stakeholders in order to make their infrastructure more effective. What we see, and is very interesting, is definitely the fact that some countries have decided to be proactive in terms of attracting operators. We can talk about specifically 2 or 3 countries in the last 6 months for which TAAG has been able to discuss, and airports. Zambia, for sure, one of them. Zimbabwe, also one of them. But we have also seen countries like Conakry approaching us and telling us, listen, what do you want? Do you want exemption? And we can give you a 3 year exemption on parking, on landing. And we can introduce a variable fee on passengers, which would allow us to be your partners in sharing risk. And that's a conversation that is taking us to a table for which we see already present in the table airport operator, civil aviation, and a lot of times other key players within that market. And they're all having the same language. One door, one speech, one result. So we are happy, as I mentioned. We are realistic to understand also that not every market in Africa will move at the same speed. In terms of MRO, we are looking at different scenarios. Right now, we're still completing the construction of new hangars in the new airport. So we are doing light maintenance, obviously, in the new airport, but some scheduled maintenance, B checks, we're doing at the old airport where we still have the infrastructure. We are counting on our partners in the region for which we have been utilizing their maintenance capabilities, notably South Africa, Ethiopia, just to mention 2 of them. But also we have the global support, obviously, of the OEMs, Airbus, Boeing, Pratt, GE as our main, and CFM as our main partners in terms of maintenance support. We have sign up contracts and support contracts with Lufthansa Technik, Air France KLM to support some of our engines as well. Looking at the medium-term strategy, TAAG is looking at opportunities to set up a standalone MRO infrastructure and really capitalizing on this fantastic airport. The airport has the room and has already the base infrastructure to grow the MRO. So the future looks bright. I mean, with the increase in fleet size, it starts to make sense for us to bring to home and not internally within TAAG, so moving out of TAAG, but within Angola, the framework of maintenance, and started small and then grow from there. Realistically, we are not looking into sustainable aviation fuel yet. Nobody in Africa can say they're realistically talking about sustainable aviation fuel. Sustainable aviation fuel has miles to grow in more mature markets and infrastructure It requires a lot of investment, and this investment is already being made. However, in terms of sustainability, what we as an airline are looking to do and are doing already, we're renovating our fleets. We're bringing state-of-the-art airplanes, more fuel-efficient airplanes, but we also putting together a sustainability strategy, an internal sustainability plan within the airline. And our vision is to have the first TAAG sustainability report put together by the end of 2026. It's a complex endeavor that will serve as the blueprint of our sustainability strategy in the long term.